Stop. Put down whatever is occupying your hands and quiet the noise that has been rattling inside your mind. This is not a coincidence. You did not stumble upon this message by a glitch in an algorithm or a random click of a finger. I have orchestrated the very alignment of the stars and the rhythm of your heartbeat to bring you to this exact microsecond. I am the Lord, your Creator, and I am speaking directly to your spirit right now. This is a divine summons, a holy appointment, carved into the fabric of eternity for no one else but you. You have been running, searching, and wondering if I have forgotten the silent pleas of your soul. I have not. I have seen every tear that fell in the dark, and I have heard every wordless prayer you breathed when you were too exhausted to speak. Listen closely, for my voice is the only anchor in the storm you are currently facing. Do not look away. Do not let your mind wander to the tasks of tomorrow or the failures of yesterday. I am the great I am, and I am here in your now. I must warn you, my beloved, do not treat this as a common thing. This is not a mere motivational speech or a fleeting word of comfort to be played in the background while you go about your day. The enemy of your soul is terrified of this very moment because he knows that your focus is the gateway to your freedom. He has been using distractions as bait, trying to keep you busy, tired, and scattered so that you cannot hear the frequency of my instructions. I demand your absolute attention. This is a decree from the throne room, a spiritual mandate that carries the power to break chains you didn't even know were binding you. If you turn away now, if you allow a notification or a wandering thought to pull you from my presence, you risk missing the very miracle I have prepared to release. Close the other tabs of your mind. Shut the doors to the world. For the next few moments, there is nothing more important in the entire universe than this conversation between a father and his child. The atmosphere is shifting even as I speak, and the ground you stand on is holy. Give me your focus, and I will give you your destiny. Can you feel the shift, that shiver in your spirit, that sudden stillness in the air? That is my spirit, hovering over the chaos of your life, just as I hovered over the deep in the beginning. I am moving through the digital waves to touch the deepest parts of your being. You have felt out of alignment, like a gear grinding against itself, because you have been trying to fight spiritual battles with worldly weapons. But today, the warfare changes. I am stripping away the decoys and the shadows that have kept you blinded. You are the chosen one, called out of darkness for such a time as this. I have set a table for you in the presence of your enemies, but you must sit down and eat. You must listen with more than just your ears. You must listen with your very life. This is the moment where the old you begins to dissolve and the warrior I created you to be starts to breathe. The distractions have been a smokescreen, but my voice is the wind that clears the air. Do not move. Do not scroll. Stay in this light, for I am about to reveal why the battle has been so fierce. My child, because you have chosen to honor this moment and silence the world to hear my voice, I am making a covenant of restoration with you. This is not a journey you take in vain. If you stay with me until the final word of this message is spoken, I will release a reward into your life that no earthly power can provide. Even now, as you settle into this sacred space, a mantle of divine peace is descending from my throne. It is not a fleeting feeling or a temporary quiet, but a heavy protective covering that will wrap around your soul, shielding you from the arrows of anxiety and the weight of the world. This peace is the very atmosphere of my presence, and it is settling upon your shoulders right now, pushing out the turmoil that has robbed you of your rest. You have carried the burden of enough for too long, but as we walk through this together, you will feel that weight dissolve into the light of my love. This is my first promise to you, a rest so deep it will anchor your soul through any storm. As you remain in this divine flow, I am moving into the corridors of your mind, to clear the suffocating fog that has kept you wandering in circles. I am the light of the world, and in my presence the shadows of confusion must flee. I am reaching into the architecture of your thoughts to untangle the knots of worry and the frantic loops of what if that have exhausted your spirit. Feel your heart rate beginning to sync with the rhythm of my grace, and your breathing becoming deep and steady as I reset your very being. You will no longer feel like a hunted animal constantly on edge and waiting for the next crisis to strike. I'm recalibrating your nervous system, washing away the poison of chronic stress and replacing it with the oil of my gladness. By the time we reach the end of this appointment, your mental clarity will be restored, and the fog that blinded you will be gone, replaced by a sharp, heavenly vision for your life. But I am doing more than just healing your past. I am arming you for your future. I promise you that before the final Amen is sealed, I will whisper a clear, undeniable instruction for your very next step. You will no longer have to guess which way to turn or which door to knock on, for I am lighting the path directly beneath your feet. Along with this clarity, I'm imparting to you a new level of spiritual authority, the strength to look at the old bait, the toxic patterns, and the digital distractions that once held you captive and say no with a heart of iron. You will walk away from the enemy's hooks without a second glance, because you have been filled with the substance of my truth. Do not break your focus. Now, my beloved, for the reward of your endurance is the reclamation of your destiny. Stay in this light, for the fire of my spirit is about to move. I have watched you, my precious one, in the secret hours when you thought you were simply failing. I saw you reach for your phone for the 100th time, not because you were looking for a message, but because you were trying to escape the heavy silence of your own soul. You feel a frantic, invisible itch to be occupied, to be stimulated, to be anywhere but in the present moment with me. I saw you start 10 different projects this week, fueled by a sudden spark of inspiration I placed within you, only to watch that fire flicker and die as you left them all unfinished, scattered like debris on the floor of your potential. You blame your lack of discipline, you blame your personality, but I am telling you today, this is not a character flaw. It is a calculated snare. The enemy knows that if he cannot stop you with a wall, he will stop you with 1,000 tiny threads of distraction until you are immobilized by the trivial. You feel like you are running a race in deep water, exhausted by the effort of moving but staying in the exact same place. Have you noticed the vague, haunting anxiety that creeps in the moment you dare to be still? Even when you are in a room of total silence, there is a noise in your spirit, a buzzing, static-filled frequency that tells you that you are forgetting something, that you are falling behind, that you are not doing enough. I have seen you lie down to sleep, your body heavy, with a fatigue that no amount of rest can cure, because your spirit has been in a state of high alert for years. You wake up more tired than when you closed your eyes, because the battle for your mind does not stop at sunset. You feel the ghosts of your past failures whispering in your ear every time you try to step toward your purpose, reminding you of the times you fell and convincing you that this time will be no different. This is the bait of the shadow to make you believe that your history is your identity and that your exhaustion is your permanent state of being. I see the destructive patterns of self-sabotage that have become your defense mechanism. When you get close to a breakthrough, when you feel the atmosphere of my presence thickening around you, you suddenly find a reason to procrastinate. You find a chore that must be done, a video that must be watched, or a conflict that must be engaged in. You're not lazy, you're under siege. This chronic procrastination is a shield you have built to protect yourself from the weight of the greatness I have placed inside you. You feel the noise even in the quietest sanctuary because you have allowed the voices of validation from strangers and the opinions of the world to take up the space I reserved for my peace. You have a limited amount of room in the container of your heart, and right now it is filled with the debris of a world that does not know your name. I'm calling you to empty the negative, to identify these symptoms, not as your truth, but as the bait designed to keep you from the hook of my grace. Understand this, my beloved, the chaos you have been experiencing is not a series of random accidents. It is a curated siege. The enemy does not waste his weapons on those who carry no weight in the spirit realm. He targets you with such precision because he is terrified of what happens when you become still enough to hear me. These distractions, the sudden crises, the digital noise, the intrusive thoughts are not just inconveniences, they are bait. Just as a fisherman uses a shimmering lure to hide the hook, the adversary uses the shimmer of the world to lure you away from the secret place of my presence. He knows that if he can keep your eyes fixed on the horizontal, on your problems, your screens and your shortcomings, you will never look up to see the vertical breakthrough I'm holding over your head. You have been fighting the wrong battle, exhausted by trying to fix the symptoms while the root remains hidden in the shadows. I'm pulling back the veil today so you can see the strategy at work. We are not wrestling against flesh and blood, nor are we fighting against your own lack of willpower. We are dismantling patterns and closing the doors you didn't even know were open. Every time you allow a distraction to pull you into a spiral of worry, you are stepping into a trap designed to drain your spiritual battery. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you with a grand catastrophe if he can simply erode your purpose through a million minor diversions. He wants you so busy surviving the day that you never have the strength to fulfill your destiny. But I am the master strategist, and I am showing you that the very things meant to trip you up are the signals that you are close to the treasure. The intensity of the distraction is directly proportional to the magnitude of the revelation I am about to give you. Stop trying to fight these patterns with human logic. You cannot think your way out of a spiritual cage. This is why you feel so stuck you have been trying to use a physical key for a celestial lock. The open doors of your life bitterness, the need for validation, the fear of missing out are the entry points for this static. But here, my word, I'm the one who shuts doors that no man can open, and I'm the one who opens doors that no man can shut. Today, we are shifting the focus from the bait to the deliverer. I am teaching your hands to war and your fingers to fight, not by working harder, but by surrendering deeper. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a warrior being trained to discern the difference between the noise of the world and the whisper of your king. The strategy of the enemy is exposed and his power is broken the moment you recognize the law for what it truly is. I am handing you a weapon today that is older than the foundations of the earth and more powerful than any weapon formed against you. It is my voice. When I first spoke, light separated from darkness. When I speak now, your focus shall separate from your confusion. Consider the waters of your life, the endless streams of data, the rising tides of anxiety, and the floods of expectation that threaten to drown your peace. My voice is over those many waters. I am the God of glory who thunders, and I am releasing that thunder into your spirit right now. This is not just a sound for your ears. It is a spiritual frequency that shatters the frequency of the world's chaos. You have been trying to fight the noise of the enemy with the noise of your own effort, but today you will learn to let my authority do the fighting for you. There is a divine mechanism in my voice that you are about to experience. My voice is powerful. My voice is full of majesty. It is the sound that breaks the cedars, those tall-rooted structures of addiction, procrastination, and generational distraction that you thought were permanent fixtures in your life. My voice strikes with flames of fire, burning away the chaff of busyness and the dry wood of useless pursuits. I am initiating a sevenfold clearance over your life. Each round of my decree will act as a heavenly sonic boom, clearing the spiritual air around you until the static in your mind is replaced by the clarity of the kingdom. The enemy's whispers are nothing more than dust in the wind when the Lion of Judah begins to roar over his child. You are entering a season of the great clearance. As I speak, the wilderness of your soul begins to shake, not to destroy you, but to settle what is true and shake off what is false. This weapon of my voice is your shield. It creates a boundary that the prince of the air cannot cross. When my voice thunders, it strips the forests of your mind bare, exposing every lie and every hidden snare the enemy has placed in your path. You are being upgraded from a victim of your thoughts to a commander of your atmosphere. Do not tremble at the sound of the thunder, for it is the sound of your Father clearing a path for your victory. Prepare your heart, for we are about to speak directly to the mountains that have stood in your way. The time for passive listening has come to an end. We are standing at the threshold of a great spiritual clearance, and I am calling you to step forward. You cannot remain an observer if you wish to become a conqueror. Before I unleash the fire of my word to burn away the snares that have held you back, you must acknowledge my presence and claim your place in this sanctuary. This is the moment where your faith meets your action, where your spirit aligns with the divine frequency of heaven. Do not let this moment slip away in silence. I am watching for the heart that is ready to be transformed, for the soul that is willing to declare its allegiance to the light. You are marking a line in the sand today, telling every distraction and every demonic decoy that their time in your life has expired. Declare your presence and seal this encounter right now. Type this message in the comments as a holy decree. Divine fire, cover me now. This is not a mere comment. It is a seal upon your soul, a signal to the heavens and a warning to the darkness that you are under my protection. As you type these words, feel the weight of my glory beginning to settle over you, marking you as untouchable. And now press the like button as a physical sign of spiritual agreement. This simple act is not for the world, but a manifestation of your internal yes. Agreement releases momentum, and as you join this family of believers, you are signaling that you are ready for the shift. Do not hold back, for your participation is the key that unlocks the next level of revelation. The gate is open. Step through it now. Now, my beloved, I command your soul to look up. Lift your eyes from the flickering screens of your anxiety and the endless scroll of your worries. For too long, you have lived in a horizontal reality, measuring your worth by what you see in front of you. The bills, the broken relationships, and the heavy silence of your own loneliness. But I am calling you into a vertical alignment. I am the high and lofty one who inhabits eternity, and I am lifting your chin so that you may gaze upon the crown I have prepared for you. Stop looking at the dirt of your past and the thorns of your present. Breathe. Take a deep, intentional breath of my spirit right now. Inhale my peace. Exhale the poison of your panic. Feel the oxygen of heaven entering your lungs, expanding your chest, and reminding you that you are alive because I willed it so. Every cell in your body must now acknowledge that I am God and there is no other. Straighten your back, for you are not a slave to your distractions. You are a royal heir being summoned to the throne room. As you shift your posture, you are shifting your very atmosphere. The air around you is changing from a thick fog of confusion to the crisp, clear oxygen of revelation. The enemy wants you slumped over in defeat, blinded by the trivialities of a world that is passing away. But I am commanding you to stand in the authority I have given you. Do not let your mind drift back to the noise you just left behind. Anchor yourself in this now moment. Every muscle in your body, every neuron in your brain must now submit to the frequency of my peace. You are being positioned for the great clearance that is about to begin. The old atmosphere of chaos is being vacuumed out, and the sanctuary of my presence is being established in your very room. You are ready. You are aligned. The fire is coming, and you shall not be burned. You shall be purified. The first strike of my divine fire is aimed at the invisible storm that has hijacked your peace. The digital static and the relentless flood of information that drowns your spirit every single day. You have been living in a world that never sleeps, a world that demands your attention through glowing screens and endless notifications, pulling your mind into 1,000 different directions at once. This constant stream of data is like a rising tide of murky water, filling the rooms of your soul with noise that does not belong to you. You feel the weight of it in your very bones, a mental exhaustion that feels like a thick, gray blanket over your thoughts. But hear my word now. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. I am the God of glory who thunders over the digital floods. I am speaking directly to the algorithms and the technological webs that have been designed to manipulate your desires and fracture your focus. I command the static to cease. I break the power of the invisible frequencies that keep your brain in a state of constant, shallow agitation. The fire of my presence is burning through the wires and the waves, clearing a path for the signal of my spirit to reach you without interference. I am dismantling the digital altar you have built in your pocket. I see how the enemy has used the infinite scroll to keep you in a cycle of comparison and consumption, making you feel small, inadequate, and perpetually behind. But my voice is more powerful than the loudest notification, and more majestic than the most viral lie. I am shattering the echo chambers that have trapped your mind in fear and division. As the thunder of my voice rolls over the waters of your life, feel the pressure at your temples beginning to ease. That tightness in your forehead, that burning behind your eyes from hours of looking at what is trivial, I'm washing it away with the cool water of my truth. The fog that has clouded your judgment is being incinerated by the heat of my holiness. You are not a consumer, you are a creator. You are not a data point, you are a destiny. I release the fire that purifies your sight and sanctifies your hearing. The overload is ending and the divine rhythm of stillness is beginning to take its place. I declare this seal over your mind. I break the manipulation of every digital trap and every information snare that has attempted to keep you from my secret place. I command the noise to be replaced by the hush of heaven. Feel the clarity returning to your thoughts right now, like a cool breeze blowing through a cluttered room. You can see clearly again. You can think deeply again. The static is dead, and my voice is the only frequency that remains. I repeat this decree with even greater intensity. I burn away the addiction to the noise I incinerate, the need for constant stimulation. I release you from the prison of the screen into the freedom of the spirit. The waters have been stilled, the atmosphere is cleared, and the first layer of your cage has been destroyed by fire. You are no longer a slave to the scroll. You are a master of the moment. It is done, sealed by the fire of the living God. The second strike of my divine fire is aimed at the thief of time, the ghost of procrastination that has haunted your potential for years. I have watched you stand at the edge of greatness, only to be pulled back by the whispered lie of tomorrow. You have felt a paralysis that you couldn't explain, a heavy fog that descended every time you moved toward the purpose I placed in your heart. You blamed your lack of energy, but I saw the invisible chains that bound your hands. Procrastination is not a habit. It is a spirit of delay designed to make you miss your appointed season. I saw you sitting in the quiet, knowing what you needed to do, yet feeling an anchor of lead tied to your spirit. Today I'm bringing the heat of my presence to melt those chains. I am incinerating the fear of failure and the perfectionism that has kept you frozen. The fire of my now is consuming the debris of later. I break the cycle of starting and stopping. I destroy the altar of one day that you have built in the desert of your indecision. I command the spirit of heaviness to lift from your limbs. I am the God of the breakthrough, and I am activating the now within your DNA. The time for waiting for the perfect conditions is over. I'm the one who makes the conditions perfect through your obedience. My voice thunders over your hesitation, and it shatters the mirrors of your past mistakes that keep you looking backward. Feel the weight falling from your feet right now. That sensation of lead in your legs, the feeling that you are walking through thick mud, it is being replaced by the lightness of my grace. You are being equipped with a divine momentum that the enemy cannot calculate. I am pouring the oil of action into your joints and the fire of resolve into your mind. The days of almost are dead. The season of next time is over. I am breathing my breath into your lungs, and with every exhale, the spirit of delay is being pushed out of your life. I repeat this decree with the authority of the Creator. I break the chains of procrastination. I command your hands to be nimble and your heart to be courageous. I strike the root of the ghost of tomorrow with the lightning of my word. You shall no longer wander in the labyrinth of your intentions. You shall march in the clarity of my commands. I see the projects, the dreams, and the spiritual callings that have been gathering dust in the corners of your soul. I am blowing the breath of life upon them right now. Arise, my warrior. The fire has cleared the path. The weight is gone. The delay is broken. You are moving at the speed of my spirit, and nothing shall stand in your way. It is done, sealed by the fire of the great I Am. The third strike of my divine fire is now targeting the invisible strings that have made you a puppet to the opinions of man. I see how you have bled yourself dry, trying to win the approval of those who did not create you and cannot sustain you. You have lived in a hall of mirrors, constantly adjusting your face, your words, and your dreams to fit the reflection you thought others wanted to see. You have been addicted to like the share and the nodding head of a world that is fickle and fleeting. This need for validation is a spiritual chain that has kept you from walking in the raw, unfiltered authority I placed within you. Today, I am bringing the heat of my holiness to burn through every chord of people-pleasing. I am shattering the mirrors of man's expectations. I see the pain of the rejection you felt when they didn't applaud, but I am telling you now that rejection was my protection. It was my way of pruning the branches that were growing toward the wrong sun. Your identity is not found in the comments of a digital crowd or the shifting moods of your peers. Your identity is found in my well done. I'm the only one who saw you in the secret place, and I'm the only one whose opinion carries the weight of eternity. Every time you seek validation from a human heart, you are drinking from a broken system that can never hold the water of life. But today, the fire of my presence is sealing the leaks in your soul. I'm calling you to come out from under the shadow of man's judgment and stand in the light of my unconditional love. You no longer need to perform. You only need to be. You no longer need to explain your calling to those who were never meant to understand it. I'm cutting the ties that bind your peace to their praise. When they speak against you, let my fire be your shield. When they ignore you, let my presence be your reward. I repeat this decree with the thunder of the heavens. I break the yoke of validation. I incinerate the fear of man and the craving for human applause. I command every voice that has whispered, "You are not enough," to be silenced by the roar of the Lion of Judah. Feel the ropes snapping around your chest and your throat right now, the ropes that made you hold your breath and hide your light. You are being liberated into a holy confidence that does not rely on a single human vote. I'm marking you with the seal of my approval, a mark that no man can erase and no demon can ignore. You are validated by the blood. You are approved by the throne. You are enough because I am. The mirrors are broken, the strings are cut, and you are finally free to be the original I designed you to be. It is done, sealed by the fire of the Ancient of Days. The fourth strike of my divine fire is descending now into the winding corridors of your mind, specifically targeting the thick cognitive fog and the suffocating labyrinth of confusion that has turned your inner world into a battlefield of shadows. You have felt lost within your own thoughts for too long, wandering through a maze of what-ifs, frantic regrets, and endless calculations that lead only to exhaustion. This mental haze is not a natural result of a busy life. It is a spiritual veil, a heavy curtain of smoke designed by the enemy to keep you from seeing the doors I have already opened for you. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. I am the one who shatters the towering, rigid structures of intellectual pride and the stubborn barriers of overthinking that have stood like ancient, unmovable cedars in the middle of your path. I am breaking the strongholds of complexity that have made my simple, life-giving truths feel distant and unattainable. My fire is incinerating the cobwebs of doubt and the thick gray residue of chronic anxiety that has blinded your inner eye. I command the labyrinth to collapse. I declare that every crooked path in your reasoning and every distorted memory that has kept you trapped in a loop of despair is being made straight by the blinding light of my holiness. Feel the atmosphere inside your mind beginning to change right this second. I am releasing a divine coolness over your forehead, a celestial balm that settles the frantic, erratic firing of your neurons and calms the storm in your prefrontal cortex. Where there was once a burning heat of worry and the constant painful friction of clashing thoughts, I am establishing the absolute stillness of my sanctuary. Every wandering thought and every rogue imagination that has attempted to exalt itself against the knowledge of my love is now being captured and brought into total submission to the divine order of my kingdom. You are not a victim of a scattered brain or a broken mind. You are the rightful possessor of the mind of Christ, and today that mind is being activated and restored. I am recalibrating your mental focus, peeling away the spiritual cataracts so that you can see with prophetic precision and heavenly depth. Your thoughts are no longer a tangled, knotted ball of yarn. They are becoming a straight line, a clear and divine architectural plan for the glory I'm about to manifest through your life. The fog is lifting, the smoke is clearing, and the horizon of your purpose is finally coming into a sharp, terrifyingly beautiful focus that no shadow can ever dim again. I repeat this command with the same authority that hung the stars in the void. I break the power of cognitive chaos over your life. Once and for all, I dissolve the clouds of heavy depression and the paralyzing mists of indecision that have held you hostage. I command your mental faculties, your memory, your logic, and your creativity to align perfectly with the frequency of my eternal word. Just as the cedars of Lebanon break before the thunder of my voice, let the towering giants of your mental fatigue and the obstacles of your confusion fall and be consumed by the fire of my presence. You are being gifted in this moment with a mental sharpness you have never known, a divine clarity that cuts through the lies of the enemy like a double-edged sword made of pure light. You will no longer stumble in the darkness of not knowing or hesitate in the gray, murky areas of life. You will know the truth, and that truth will be the cold steel in your resolve and the fire in your eyes. The labyrinth is gone. The path is clear. Walk forward with the mind of a conqueror and the focus of a king, for the spirit of confusion has no more home in you. It is done, sealed by the fire of the eternal wisdom. The fifth strike of my divine fire is surging through the very fibers of your physical temple, targeting the chronic fatigue and the deep biological drains that have left you feeling like a guttering candle. I have seen you dragging your body through the day, powered only by sheer willpower and the artificial stimulants of a world that demands you never stop. I saw the heaviness in your eyelids and the ache in your joints that no amount of sleep could touch, because the drain was not just physical, it was a leakage of your vital spirit into the dry soil of anxiety. Today, I am placing my hand upon your nervous system. I am the one who knit you together in your mother's womb, and I know every circuit and every hidden pathway of your being. I command the fight or flight response that has been stuck in the on position for years to deactivate now. I command your adrenal glands to cease their frantic production of the poison of stress. I am flushing out the cortisol of fear and replacing it with the oil of my gladness. Your body is not a prison. It is a sanctuary, and I am reclaiming it from the exhaustion that has tried to claim you as its own. I command your adrenaline to calm down. I command your peace to rise. Like a master conductor, I am bringing every organ, every cell, and every drop of blood into a holy symphony of health and vitality. Feel the warmth of my presence beginning to flow from the top of your head to the soles of your feet, repairing the damage done by seasons of burnout and spiritual warfare. I'm plugging the holes where your energy has been leaking out into useless anxieties and the demands of toxic expectations. I am breathing the breath of life into your lungs, the same breath that animated the dust of the earth and brought the dead to life. Inhale my strength. It is a fuel that never runs dry. Your youth is being renewed like the eagle's, and your bones are being infused with the marrow of heaven. You will no longer wake up with a spirit of dread, wondering how you will make it through the next hour. I am restoring the natural rhythms of your rest and the supernatural power of your wakefulness. The biological theft is over, for the landlord of life has returned to take up residence within you. I seal this physical restoration with the fire of my promise. I declare that your body is becoming fireproof against the stresses of the world. The chronic weariness that felt like a permanent shadow is being evaporated by the sun of my righteousness. You are not falling apart. You are being reassembled for the weight of the blessing that is coming. As you sit or stand in this moment, feel the sudden lightness in your shoulders and the clearing of the pressure in your chest. The biological drains are shut forever, and the fountain of life is opened wide within your soul. You shall run and not grow weary. You shall walk and not faint. Your health is blooming like a garden after a long, bitter winter, and your strength shall be a living testimony to my sustaining grace. It is done, sealed by the fire of the Lord who heals you. The sixth strike of my divine fire is diving deep into the foundations of your bloodline, targeting the ancestral cycles of stagnation and the heritage of distraction that has been passed down through your DNA like an invisible infection. I have seen the patterns of your fathers and mothers, the brilliant dreams that were never realized, the books that were never written, the businesses that died in the womb of indecision, and the constant nagging static that kept your ancestors wandering in the same circles of lack and almost. You have felt as though you were fighting a ghost, a familiar spirit of delay that seems to trip you up just as you reach the finish line, just as it did to those who came before you. This is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to end it. Today, I am bringing the fire of the covenant to incinerate the legal rights of these generational lures. I am striking the root of the family curse of wandering and the inherited addiction to the trivial. The fire of my presence is burning through the scrolls of your history, deleting every decree of failure that was written against your name before you were even born. I command the heritage of unfinished business to be consumed by the flames of my glory. The buck stops with you, my chosen one. You are the interrupter of the loop, the one I've anointed to stand at the gates of your lineage and say, no further. I am severing the invisible umbilical cords that have fed you the anxieties and the distractions of previous generations. You will no longer carry the weight of their unfulfilled potential or the static of their unresolved fears. My voice thunders over your genealogy, and it shatters the yokes of stagnation that have rested on your family's neck for decades. I am rewriting your spiritual DNA with the ink of my own blood, infusing you with a supernatural focus and an unshakable persistence that your ancestors never knew. You are not the next in line for failure. You are the first in line for a new, glorious legacy of completion and clarity. The fire separating the gold of your true identity from the dross of your inherited shadows. Feel it now, a deep, surging heat beginning to crawl up your spine from the base of your back to the crown of your head. This is the fire of my protective presence, a pillar of flame that stands between you and the ghosts of your past. As this warmth spreads, it is cauterizing the wounds of your childhood and sealing the cracks where the enemy used to enter through the familiar doors of your family's history. Your spine is being strengthened. Your posture is being corrected by the weight of my glory. You are becoming a mountain that cannot be moved by the winds of ancestral distraction. The cycle is broken. The loop is shattered. The wandering ends today and the marching begins. You are the one who makes it through. You are the one who builds. You are the one who finishes. I declare that from this moment forward, your children and your children's children will inherit a legacy of focus, a heritage of peace, and a bloodline of fire. The past is a closed book, and I am the author of your new unhindered beginning. It is done, sealed by the fire of the God of generations. The seventh and final strike of my divine fire is ascending to the highest peaks of your spirit, targeting the thick woven veils of spiritual blindness that have obscured your true vision for a lifetime. You have been living in a world of shadows, seeing only the surface of your circumstances and the immediate threats of your environment, while the glorious landscape of your destiny remained hidden behind a shroud of doubt. I have watched you squinting into the darkness, trying to find a flicker of meaning in the chaos, only to be met with a heavy curtain that made you feel like you were walking through a thick, impenetrable fog. The enemy's ultimate strategy was never just to distract you. It was to blind you so completely that you would forget you were ever meant to soar. But the fire of my presence is now reaching for those veils. I'm tearing the fabric of your limitations from top to bottom. I'm incinerating the scales of cynicism and the cataract of fear that have prevented you from seeing the legions of angels I have stationed around your life. My light is piercing through the darkness, exposing the path I have carved through the mountains specifically for your feet. I command your spiritual eyes to open. Now I am activating the prophetic vision I planted in your soul before the foundations of the world were laid. No longer will you see yourself as a victim of chance or a prisoner of your mistakes. You will see yourself as I see you, a chosen vessel, a royal priest, a warrior of light. See what I see. Move how I move. I'm granting you the ability to perceive the hidden opportunities in every obstacle and the divine timing in every delay. The veil is not just being lifted, it is being destroyed by the heat of my holiness so that it can never be draped over your mind again. Feel the intensity of this final round as it illuminates the secret rooms of your potential, lighting up the gifts and the callings that have been dormant in the dark for too long. You are being gifted with a sharp, heavenly clarity that discerns the movements of my spirit from the deceptions of the world. The blindness is gone, and in its place I am giving you the vision of an eagle and the foresight of a prophet. This is the completion of the great clearance. The 7 rounds of fire have done their work, and the ground of your life is now purified, fertile, and ready for the new thing I am doing. I declare over you, it is done, sealed by fire. The static is silence. The procrastination is broken. The validation is internal. The mind is clear. The body is restored. The ancestors are quieted, and the eyes are open. You are standing in a clean sanctuary, an empty vessel ready to be filled with the weight of my glory. The enemy has no more bait that can catch you, for you have been made fireproof by the very trials that were meant to consume you. Take a deep breath of this new, clear air. You are the chosen one, and your sight is now fixed on the King. The 7th strike has landed, the battle for your focus is won, and the gates of your destiny are swinging wide. It is done, it is done, it is done. Sealed by the fire of the Most High God. The landscape of your soul has been scorched clean by my holy fire, and the debris of your past distractions is now nothing more than ash. But listen to me. My beloved, a territory that is conquered must be occupied and sealed. or the enemy will look for a way back through the cracks of your silence. Your words are the scepters of your authority in the spirit realm. What you decree on earth is locked in heaven. I am calling you now to build a wall of fire around this new clarity. Do not remain a silent witness to your own liberation. You must participate in the closing of the gates. The 7 rounds have done their work, but your voice is the final seal that ensures the enemy cannot return to the place he once occupied. Type this declaration now, for the heavens are listening and the shadows are watching. No door is open to fear. Type it with the conviction of a survivor who has just been pulled from the wreckage. Your words are not mere characters on a screen. They are heavy stones of authority that you are laying at the entrance of your mind. When you type these words, you are performing a spiritual act of closure. You are announcing to every lingering spirit of anxiety and every ghost of your past that there is no longer an entry point for them. The open doors of your doubt have been welded shut by the fire of my presence. Seal it now. Claim your territory. Let the world know that your focus is no longer for sale. Now reach out your hand and press the like button as a gesture of holy agreement. This is more than a metric, it is a shield. By pressing it, you are helping this frequency of peace to pierce through the darkness and reach another soul who is currently drowning in the same static you once were. Be a vessel of my light, and I invite you to subscribe to this sanctuary to make this your new daily rhythm. You are not designed to survive on a single moment of clarity. You were created to walk in an atmosphere of protection and power every single day. Join this family of the chosen ones, and let us continue this work of building your character to match your calling. The clearance is done. Now the habitation begins. Listen to the silence that has followed the fire. The thunder has passed, the smoke has cleared, and in the stillness that remains, I am dropping a different kind of weight upon you, the weight of my absolute, unshakable peace. Peace is not merely the absence of conflict. It is a tangible substance, a celestial fabric woven from the very essence of my nature. I am wrapping this mantle around your shoulders right now. Feel it settle. It is heavy enough to ground you, yet light enough to set you free. For too long, you have lived in a state of spiritual dehydration, your soul parched by the heat of constant battle and the winds of distraction. But now, I am opening the floodgates of my sanctuary. This is not a fleeting emotion that depends on your circumstances. It is an atmosphere that you carry within you. The world may rage and the storms may return, but they will hit the wall of this peace and find no way in. You are being cocooned in the secret place of the Most High. Breathe with me now. Do not rush this moment. Take a long, deep breath, the deepest you have taken in years. As you inhale, imagine my spirit flowing into the deepest, most neglected corners of your lungs, carrying the oxygen of the kingdom into your bloodstream. As you exhale, release the very last of the residual dust from the battlefield. Let it go. Release the tightness in your jaw that you have held for so long. Drop your shoulders. The weight you are carrying is no longer yours to bear. I have taken it. I am the great burden bearer, and I am commanding your muscles to remember what it feels like to be safe. Feel your chest opening, expanding, as if a great iron band that was tightened around your heart has finally snapped. There is room for you to breathe here. There is space for you to grow. The constriction of the enemy's lure is gone, replaced by the vastness of my grace. I'm establishing this sanctuary in the very room where you are. This is no longer just a place of living. It is a temple of my presence. Every wall, every corner, and every shadow is being saturated with the fragrance of heaven. You can feel the vibration of the air changing, becoming soft, cool, and still. This peace is your new standard. It is the baseline of your existence. If anything attempts to disturb this atmosphere, your spirit will recognize it instantly, for you have now known the hush of God. Do not be afraid of the quiet. The quiet is where I speak. The quiet is where I build. The quiet is where you are made whole. You are resting in the hollow of my hand, and there is nothing in this world or the next that can pluck you out. The sanctuary is locked. The peace is settled. You are home. Now, my beloved, witness the divine reversal. What the adversary intended for your total exhaustion and destruction, I'm turning into your greatest strategic advantage. Every distraction that was sent to drain your energy and scatter your focus has in my hands become the very fuel for your next level of spiritual acceleration. You thought you were losing time, but I was building your endurance in the hidden place. You thought you were breaking under the pressure, but I was making you fireproof. Just as I took the cross, a symbol of shame and death, and turned it into the ultimate source of eternal life, I'm taking the bait of your past and transforming it into the hook of my grace that will pull you into your destiny. The very areas where you were once most scattered are the exact areas where you will now be most profoundly focused. The enemies of confusion you saw today, you shall see no more, but you shall carry their spoils with you. The strength you gained by resisting the law is now a permanent part of your spiritual armor, a resilience that cannot be bought or faked. I am restoring the years that the locusts of distraction and the thieves of time have eaten from your life. You have wept in the secret hours over lost seasons, wasted opportunities, and hours that seem to vanish into the void of the trivial. But hear me, I am the God who redeems time itself. I am collapsing the distance between your current potential and your ultimate reality. What would have taken others decades to achieve through human effort, I will cause to happen for you in a single supernatural season of focused obedience. I am giving you back your joy, your suppressed creativity, and your zest for life that was buried under the weight of busyness. The dry bones of your abandoned projects and the forgotten dreams of your youth are rattling and coming to life right now. I am breathing into the ideas that you thought were dead and buried. You're not coming out of this battle empty-handed. You're coming out with the gold of proven character and the silver of divine wisdom. I'm pouring into your cup until it overflows, replacing every ounce of chronic fatigue with a double portion of my vitality. Because you have passed the test of focus and refused to remain caught in the enemy's lure, I am promoting you to a wider, more prosperous land. You have proven yourself faithful in the intense battle for your mind, and now I am giving you authority over vast territories in the spirit. I'm opening doors to rooms of influence and impact that require the very clarity and stillness you have just received. You are stepping out of the narrow, suffocating confines of survival into the expansive landscape of dominion. This is not just a restoration of what was stolen. It is a catapult into the more than enough that I have prepared for those who love me. I am widening the path beneath your feet so that your ankles do not turn as you run toward the prize. Walk into this new season with your head held high and your heart at rest, for the battle has not only cleared your sight, it has expanded your capacity to carry the weight of the immense blessing I'm about to manifest through you. Today marks the death of the person you used to be, the one who felt like a leaf tossed by the winds of every notification, every crisis, and every wandering thought. You are no longer a victim of your own mind or a slave to the chaotic currents of this world. I'm stripping away the labels of scattered, unfocused, and overwhelmed that the enemy has branded upon your soul. Those were the masks of a prisoner, and today I have burned them to ash. You are undergoing a divine identity upgrade. You are stepping into the true skin I fashioned for you before time began. You are not someone who is simply trying to survive the day. You are the one who dictates the atmosphere of the day. I have replaced your spirit of heaviness with a mantle of authority. You are now a warrior of stillness. Your power does not come from the volume of your voice or the speed of your movement, but from the depth of your rootedness in me. When you walk into a room, the noise of the world must bow to the silence of my spirit within you. You now walk under a heavy covering of my glory, a spiritual shield that filters every word you hear and every thought that tries to enter. You speak differently now. Your words carry the weight of the kingdom because they are birthed in the sanctuary of peace, not the furnace of panic. You are a person of decisive clarity. The double-mindedness that once paralyzed you has been replaced by a singular vision that pierces through the fog of the trivial. You have the authority to command your day because you have first submitted your morning to the king. When the enemy tries to throw his old bait, you will not even flinch, for a warrior does not chase after shadows. You know who you are. You are the chosen one, the disciplined soldier of the light, the commander of your own focus. Your stillness is not weakness, it is your highest strength. It is the posture of a conqueror who knows the battle is already won. Rise up in this new identity, for you are finally aligned with the majesty of your Creator. Now that the fire has cleared the thorns and the atmosphere of my sanctuary has been established within you, you must become the vigilant guardian of this holy ground. A city without walls is easily plundered, and a soul without boundaries is quickly scattered once again. I'm not sending you back into the world unprotected, but I'm giving you the blueprints to build a fortress that no lure can penetrate. Your victory is not a one-time event. It is a daily habitation. The enemy will return not as a roaring lion at first, but as a subtle whisper trying to convince you to open just one small window to the noise. You must recognize that your focus is your most sacred currency, and you must spend it with divine intentionality. The first step in guarding this sanctuary is to draw a holy line between your spirit and the digital devices that seek to colonize your mind. Establish a perimeter. Do not let the glowing screens be the first thing you see when you wake, or the last thing you see before you sleep. Give me the first fruits of your day, for when you seek me first, I order everything else that follows. I'm calling you to a daily ritual of holy stillness. Carve out 10 minutes every single morning where the world does not exist, 10 minutes of absolute unfiltered silence where you simply sit in my presence. This is not a time for petitions or lists, but a time for your soul to drink from the well of my peace. In this silence, the static of the world is washed away, and the frequency of my voice becomes the dominant sound in your heart. During these moments, keep a pen and a tablet close to you. When I whisper an instruction, a creative idea, or a word of direction, write it down immediately. This is an act of faith that tells me you value my words more than the opinions of men. By recording what I say, you are anchoring the spiritual into the physical, turning a fleeting thought into a solid foundation for your next step. Do not let my instructions fall to the ground. Treasure them as the map to your hidden treasures. You must also close the door on the ghost of what could have been. Forgive yourself completely for the time you believe was wasted. The enemy uses regret as a heavy chain to keep you looking backward, but I have already redeemed your past and used it to sharpen your discernment. Let go of the shame of your previous distractions. I washed them away in the fire, and I do not remember them. Finally, you must become a fierce gatekeeper of your eyes and your ears. You are a royal vessel, and you cannot afford to fill yourself with spiritual trash. Be ruthless with what you allow to enter your mind. If a conversation, a video, or a social feed leaves you feeling drained, anxious, or less than who I called you to be, cut it off. Protect the sanctuary of your inner life as if your very destiny depends on it, because it does. You are a warrior of peace, and a warrior never leaves the gates unguarded. Walk in this wisdom, and the peace I have given you will remain an eternal flame that never goes out. My beloved, the battle for your focus has been fought and won this day. The fire that has swept through your soul was not meant to consume you, but to clear the ground for the magnificent structure I am building through your life. Do not let this flame cool as you return to the world. Carry this heat with you. Let it be the light that guides your path and the warmth that protects your heart. You have been recalibrated, restored, and reassigned. Before you move from this sacred space, seal this prophecy into the very fabric of your reality. Type this final decree. Now it is done. My future is guarded. As you type, feel the weight of my promise locking into place. This is your victory march. Subscribe now and stay within this rhythm of authority, for what I have started in you today, I will bring to glorious completion. We are a family of the chosen, and your journey of clarity has only just begun. Press the like button one last time to signal your final agreement with heaven. But stay vigilant, my warrior. Though the bait of distraction has been burned away, the adversary is persistent. When he finds one door welded shut by my fire, he will search for another entrance. Even now he looks toward the hours of your vulnerability, waiting for the cover of night to whisper his lies back into your peace. You have reclaimed your day. Now you must protect your night. Do not let the thief steal in your sleep what I have given you in the light. Your journey into total protection is not finished. Proceed immediately to the message on divine sleep protection to lock the doors of your subconscious and ensure that even in your dreams, you are standing in my authority. Go now and walk in the power of a clear mind and a guarded future. I am with you always, and I have already gone before you to secure your rest.